The Match Ball.
You're right, evening. Welcome to The Match Ball. It's Dan here with Michael and with Chris Mack as we debrief Norwich 1, Leeds United 1. Show is brought to you with Levi Solicitors.
Correct. 80th birthday, 90th birthday month. Shit.
Jesus.
Honestly, wow. Try again. Do you want to try again?
Yeah.
We'll just re-record it.
15% off. It's not live, is it?
No.
Thank God. 15% off. Will's.
He's given up. 15% discount on wills, conveyancing and lasting powers of attorney for Levi Solicitors' 90th birthday month, which is now October 2024. Full details and terms on the website, levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Right then, let's get into it. The big three. What do you reckon? Debut outing for the blue kit, 1-1 draw. Is it cursed? Subs changing the game and injuries. Where do you want to start?
Injuries?
Yeah, start with the fun stuff.
Felt sad that. Having had a bad week of injury news to then have another. He's not really had any injuries, has he, to this point, Cruyff? I'm trying to think. Did he get any like? Because he wasn't in the team for selection reasons, wasn't he, at the start of last year? But I feel like he's mainly managed to avoid injuries. And then there we were. And then he was Rothwell on and then booked within a few minutes. And it felt all a bit like, in my head, there was suspension, injury, crisis mounting. And we were starting with Charlie Crew in midfield against Sunderland.
We may yet.
But yeah, it's not looking the best, is it?
No. That's all I've got to say on that. I do want to talk about, though, as part of the big three, that I think the injuries were being considered there with relation to the subs and the fact that we've got a game on Friday, because I think loads of people in the comments, which we'll get to on live on YouTube for our TSB Plus members. Hello to you. Thanks for joining us. I think, yeah, Farkas moves late in that game, while it definitely took the momentum out of the game, out of our game. We were saying, weren't we, that like that last 15 minutes had just descended into a championship grind. And I want to say, in mitigation, we've got another game on Friday and he is trying to preserve legs. Like, for example, it's been identified by, I think it's Lucas, let me just have the comment up on the screen, saying taking Ramazani off just after his goal, absolutely baffling, killed our momentum. But then there's also, you've got to have something in the tank for Friday. And is a point tonight bad in that, in relation to that?
But a point overall is fine, I think, in a game that I felt like with 20 minutes to go, I thought someone's going to win this, but then both teams just looked knackered and the subs made it all disjointed, and it descended into just a really low quality game for that last 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, we might have had somebody else to bring off the bench if he hadn't signed a winger who's chronically injured.
Yeah.
There's that.
There was no way we could have known.
Although I gather Solomon is back for that.
For Sunderland?
I've heard on the QT, yes.
Who told you that?
Not telling you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I heard he's not.
Well, I heard different.
I heard he's having vertebrae removed.
Is that right?
Yep.
What, so he could be a little bit more
wriggly? He's actually too big compared to Nonto and Ramazani, so we're shrinking him.
Right.
But yeah, we could do with some more options, because you admittedly did look at that bench and think there's not an awful lot.
And just wrapping up the blue kit, Chris, you're a fan of the blue kit?
Absolutely hate it.
Right. Why?
It was done in 2018 with the bus seat.
Yeah.
It was done better.
Right.
And yeah, it's just crap.
Fine.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Although we did say we did think Nonto looked slimmer in it.
Yeah.
So that's something.
Right.
Might buy one.
Might get one.
Yeah.
Beat me to it. Talking points from the game then. Penalty, 15 minutes. We'd started off quite brightly, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were going to win that from the opening. It looked like they didn't have an awful lot, and then that stupid tackle just didn't need to happen. I can see what he was trying to do, but he was trying to presumably block the cross shot, whatever it was going to be from Sargent. But just block the path of the ball just to go straight for his foot. I don't know. It was there for him to stand still and receive, wasn't it? That foot, the tackle.
It's that number 6 shirt.
The rashness. It's built in.
It's infectious. Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, was that. Melier from the penalty?
Well, yeah. We were saying that's 1 in 20 penalties he saved. And Chris was saying you think the rebound was knocked in as well.
Yeah, of the one that he saved, Jesse Lingard scored the rebound.
Right.
I just can't even picture this.
Picture
Melier saving it and the rebound going in. I don't know how I've entirely blocked this out.
We lost 2-0 at West Ham in the lockdown season. I think it was like right after that we might have played Chelsea that weekend.
How do you remember shit like it's like Phil Hayes with his bloody photographic memory? Mind you, I think it says a lot that we've got kids and families and that, and your head gets full of nonsense, doesn't it?
That's true.
So well done, you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuses.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it is true.
Although on melee and penalties, whenever he broke into the first team, I thought of him as a bit of a penalty expert. I'd like to go back to see his time as the under 20 at that time under 23s goalkeeper, because I think he saved a few penalties for them right at the start.
Did he though?
Yeah, makes you think.
I mean, you should realistically be saving like 1 in 4, shouldn't you? Based on the XG of what a penalty is.
Oh, they might be missed as well.
But they haven't been, have they?
No.
Or maybe XG is a load of nonsense.
Possibly, but I feel like from penalties, that's a fairly decent guide, surely, because that's like there's not a lot of nuance to a penalty.
If you watch a penalty shootout, it does feel like these days more than 75% of penalties are scored. But
anyway,
I digress.
We nearly equalised straight away because Nonto hit the post within about 2 minutes of that being taken, which was a little bit unfortunate because we'd said here it'd be nice if we could equalise now, stating the obvious, and we nearly did, but we didn't.
Yeah, we were saying how good Nonto is at that because he's happy shooting with either foot. He gives himself options in a way that a lot of players don't, because some players you get the feeling are always just constantly trying to work it onto their favoured foot, and Nonto just that little quick shot that is often pulled back rather than going for the far corner as well. He often likes to pull it into the near side.
He tried that at the weekend, didn't he?
It just takes people by surprise, does that, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was pretty unlucky.
And he hits it very hard.
Yes.
Which you are a fan of. We have actually had something into the mailbag at thesquareball.net if you want to send us an email. I won't spoil it now. It's quite a comprehensive bit of coaching analysis, but it suggests not just kicking it dead hard, but kicking it dead hard into the corners, Michael. So one for you to ponder for the next day or two.
Well, he nearly did it perfectly, didn't he, Nonto? Yeah. Hit the inside of the post.
Next note that I've got relates to Borja Sainz.
Yes.
And not getting booked. And I've put ref ? We'll do that when we talk about dickhead ref, because I think he probably deserves a section of his own, just Steve Martin, hench ref. And then it was a minute after that Gruev got crocked and Rothwell came on. What did you make of midfield tonight?
Well, people have wanted to see a less defensive midfield. One of the two to be maybe dropped, and then we didn't have anyone. I think probably it did show a bit that we didn't have any defensive-minded people in there, because it felt like we were a little bit vulnerable to counter-attacks and stuff after, well, sort of from the moment Gruev went off, I'd have to probably say. Someone with data may counter this, but it just felt like they played through the middle of us quite easily, and there was...
But was that because we were attacking, though?
I don't know. It felt like there was no one there to instinctively break up counter-attacks. If you've got a defensive-minded player there, they're more inclined to just be in that holding position when stuff's breaking in the first place, and they can interrupt the pass. Like Calvin Phillips used to do it brilliantly. He used to save us loads of defensive work by just knowing when to step in and intercept balls and make a tackle just before they have a chance to break and stuff. And maybe that wasn't happening as much as it should have done.
I feel like Tanaka was there from time to time, but it was more just per passing, perhaps.
Johnny Hayes Jazz has described Tanaka as like a very good Paul Ocon. Is that damned with faint praise? Is it?
Whereas one of my WhatsApp groups was describing Joe Rothwell as this generation's Sean Gregan, which is maybe unfair.
Same shirt number?
Yes.
8, yeah. It is, isn't it?
He doesn't fill it as well as Sean Gregan.
It's quite telling about how this game unfolded that my last note in the first half was on 23 minutes. It's when Rothwell got his yellow. And again, I've put ref ? And I think he went in, and I noticed this actually, he was charging round late in the game on Saturday, whenever it was that we played. And he was just leaving his foot in just a little bit. It looked like he was going over the ball just a tiny little bit. But I got annoyed tonight when he got booked because it didn't feel fair.
I thought it was a little bit harsh because we said we didn't think the ref was even necessarily properly watching when the tackle went in.
He guessed by the reaction, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think he was going to book him until he stayed down for a while, because he certainly didn't come over and pull the card out straight away. He kind of had a bit of a look at what was going on around him and player rolling about and kind of went, oh, yeah, all right, I suppose so.
Well, I mean, Stephen's just saying in the comments, sorry to say it, Dan, but I thought Tanaka looked a bit lightweight in the challenge. Whoa. You don't have to apologise to me, Stephen. Apologise to the generational talent.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I think the other side to that, and in genuine mitigation, is that you couldn't put your foot in because this ref would give everything.
Apart from against Sainz, but
Yeah,
You know?
we'll get this part of the dickhead ref chat.
I'm just trying to find. I'm going to try and find Tanaka's stats. Statistically, he was good because he got 7.6 on FOTMOB, which must mean he completed most of his passes.
I mean, joking aside, he looked perfectly functional and tidy. Anyway.
So SofaScore have rated Joe Rothwell higher than Tanaka, 7.2 to 7.1.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I thought they were both actually fine.
Then I've put a big line in my piece of paper, which is half time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were a bit unlucky to be going in 1 down at half time.
Yeah, well, they didn't really create anything in that first half apart from the penalty, did they?
No, they didn't seem to have many chances overall.
No.
Or was it just really that boring at times from them?
I don't think it was boring. I think it was just a fairly tight game because they're not a bad side. As we always said, there were two teams on the field, aren't there?
There were no big chances created by either side, according to the Sky feed at halftime.
Mm.
It's a penalty, okay.
Apparently not, though.
Well, I suppose if we were taking it, I would possibly agree.
And then I haven't got any notes for the first 15 minutes of the second half because it settled into that familiar pattern of us sort of generally controlling it, trying to make the run in, getting caught a couple of times on the counter. You know the story.
It looked quite championshipy.
Mm.
My only note was farming simulator ?
Oh, that was down on the advertising holdings, wasn't it? Yeah.
Probably going to download it when we get home.
Is it the same people who've done Goat Simulator? Is it them? Or is it?
I don't know, because there's pressure washing simulator as well. That's another one.
Have you tried that?
I've not, but yeah, you can.
Well, I will say I've got a pressure washer at home, an actual real life one, which is very exciting.
Did you practice on the simulator first?
Just to get a handle.
Just get a feel for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did, Michael.
No, my notes start the second half. Bogle booked, Nonto fouled, a couple of shots blocked. Norwich had that chance from a corner, which was reasonable. That was just before we scored, wasn't it, as well? They had that. He sort of mistimed his jump a little bit and it went over. So we maybe slightly got away with that, but sorry, just coughing there.
All right, I thought it was a pretend cough, but it was a real one.
No, it was a real cough.
Oh.
Got a bit of a tickly throat.
Oh, bless you.
And then we scored, which was pretty good.
We did, and Ramazani did not do a backflip.
Oh yeah, didn't even notice that.
Just realised, yeah.
Maybe he got shouted at
For showing off.
for potentially tearing one of his knee ligaments.
Yeah.
It's rained a lot as well. Very wet pitch. So
Not optimum conditions, you would say, given your experience.
that's why I've not been doing any today.
Right.
Across
Okay.
the car park.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, not a bad little goal. Pretty basic in its makeup, wasn't it? Pass, was it Strauk to
Nonto.
to Largin, just put it in? Well, you're just going to pass through the lines and put it in? Fine.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good finish.
Nanto's found his new mate.
Yeah.
Largy.
Yeah, he's. I think he's not been probably as influential in general play as Somerville, but he's got a couple of goals already. So I suppose in statistics wise, he's replacing him, isn't he? He's just filling the gap there with his goals.
There's a lot of headlines to be had with Largy and Willie
Like
combining together.
Like what?
William Large.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the one. I thought Nonto was our best player again, I will say.
Yeah, full of threat.
I feel like he's been our best player in most every game.
Photographed with Spider-Man earphones on his way in.
Oh, was it?
I think so, yeah. My mate Neil sent me that photo.
Well, maybe it's because they're the children's ones and we've addressed before how small his ears are.
Yeah,
maybe an adult earphone just won't stay in. Probably can't get the earbuds, probably don't even fit.
Yeah, these are over-ear ones. But I do have a feeling, as my mate Neil said, that they were 100% left behind by Jorginho. I bet he loves Spider-Man, Georgie. But he's dead to me now.
About him. Stop thinking about
He's
him.
dead to me now. Yeah,
He doesn't care about you.
I've got no notes beyond our equaliser because I think we tried to win it for a bit, but never really with any great conviction. And the game just got a bit sloppy. And I have to be honest. And I just started thinking about finding a photo for the artwork. And as soon as Ramazani scored, I was like, right, I've got a photo for the video stream. Started putting that together. I didn't really engage with the game that much because not a lot happened. It just descended into that championship-y grind.
I feel like the way both teams ended it, even vaguely proficient Premier League team would have put about 4 goals past either of us because both teams were just giving it away in fairly dangerous areas, but then the next touch would be shit and it'd come to nothing.
There was that moment where they broke
possession and turnover again. And
they broke down our left and their right, and you could have slid the pass in behind the fullback. You're like, and then you realise it's shit championship-y footballers who can't execute the pass.
It is the most championship-y I think a Leeds game's looked this season. Feels like that.
Yeah. Everyone looked tired, I would say, towards the end as well. Like it did look a bit like when games get towards the end of extra time sometimes, and you can tell people are just wanting it to finish.
That's great. I mean, we were playing again on Friday night and then sending all of our players off on international duty. Brenton Aronson, Junior Firpo going halfway around the world.
Great.
Brilliant.
Right. Let's move on to the dickhead ref from Talking Points. Dickhead ref is a talking point. It was that hench bastard, Steve Martin. I don't think we've ever lost with him in charge of us, though. That is worth saying, even though tonight I thought he was a bit shit.
Referred to by the Millwall Lions. Is it called Lions TV? Something like that, anyway, as a condom full of walnuts.
Yeah.
This guy. Yeah, I just think he's very good. You can always tell a ref's performance. There were big cheers when he finally gave us a free kick on about 20 minutes, and there was a big sort of way you could hear from going up from the away end because we didn't feel like we'd had much of the rub of the green.
I think the ref on Saturday against Coventry was a homer, and I think Walnuts boy was a bit of a homer tonight for the early stages. He was dishing out yellow cards quite easily for some stuff, but it was in particular that thing that Borja did on 18 minutes where he swiped at Aronson, wasn't it? And given how easily yellow cards were getting dished out, I found that quite frustrating that he didn't book him for that.
Yeah, that was as much of a yellow as anything else that happened.
The Callum Doyle tackle was pretty poor, I thought.
Was that the one on Lonto?
Yeah. And the one on Firpo was a bit of a scissoring motion that they always talk about when they're explaining red cards. Steve Martin, average yellow cards per game, 3.62. 7 tonight.
Didn't feel like a 7-card game.
No,
it didn't at all. Yeah, I think each of ours were deserved. Rothwell's wasn't, I didn't think. Nonso got one for complaining, didn't he?
About the penalty. Was that a penalty in your view?
We did see a replay of it. I think he does get kicked on the leg a bit. It's one of those that I don't actually like. I don't really want these to be penalties. But then, they're given all the time. And when they're given against us, I tend to go, don't kick him. And I blame us. And then I also don't want them given to us. So
arguably as much of a penalty as the one that Rodon gave away, which was really stupid, to be fair. But in terms, if you're going to talk about levels of contact, I think it's probably more or less the same. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid. Don't do silly stuff.
Yeah.
Nonso gets he does get a lot of yellows for complaining at refs, I feel like. Or if he doesn't, he probably deserves more because he does love a moan.
As Rob makes the very good point, honestly hate how the ref's performance each week becomes such a talking point. Honestly sick of the shit standard at this level. Yeah, I mean, the ref I thought that the weekend was all right, mainly because he gave us loads of stuff, but I could see how you might be a bit aggrieved as a Coventry fan with it.
I think the thing is as well that leads into it, even though we all basically agree it was a penalty to Norwich, still a bit annoying, isn't it?
I mean, they're not going to get everything right.
I'd still rather he didn't give it.
They're not going to get everything right. They can't, can they, by definition?
No.
It is genuinely a tough job, but don't be a dick. Just make it easier on yourself.
I did enjoy the Norwich manager, Thorup, said at the weekend that he thought VAR should be brought into the championship, which would have almost certainly cost his team the game tonight because probably one of those tackles in the first half is given as a red card. Maybe the Doyle one.
I thought it was a strong yellow.
Allowing VAR to spend a lot of time looking at it, they'll talk themselves into giving a red card there.
As Paul's just said, still rather a shit ref than VAR. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, miles better. I
can see someone's put, I'd rather have Andy Hinchcliffe as ref, which is simply not true. Although it would keep him away from broadcasting, which may be a benefit. The co-coms guy today was fairly inoffensive, I thought.
Luke Chambers, did we decide?
Seemingly so. Ex-Ipswich defender. Don't remember him at all.
But he's in the right part of the world, isn't he? It's one of those gigs. It's like, come on, can you come and do co-coms because it's just up the road? I'll give you 20 quid or whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was, compared to Goodman and Hinchcliffe.
Just imagining Hinchcliffe as a referee. Could you, like him giving a penalty, being like, see, what I would have done there actually is just not fouled him.
Yeah. Well, twat. Anyway, that's the ref, I mean. Man of the match for you, Nonso?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't he? I thought tonight. There were plenty of moments where there were just little things that happened where you thought, we've got players in here who are a cut above. But,
they were really all him.
Can't win them all.
They were actually all him tonight with those moments, I thought, because I didn't think Aronson or Joseph did very much. Aronson sort of makes himself busy, doesn't he? And he does annoy people. You can sort of tell with the way he buzzes around. He's kind of in people's faces, isn't he? But yeah, Joseph again didn't particularly get a kick.
I wrote on the blog today about Nanto and how he's sort of quite possibly going to be the person to just drive us to promotion. It does feel like that. And was reading that when he was doing his equivalent of his A-levels, he had to do an oral exam in English and was speaking about Oscar Wilde and the poet Giacomo Leopardi, I think, as well. So I sort of wonder some of the conversations that go on in the Leeds dressing room with him.
I mean, he probably knows more about Oscar Wilde than I do. I'll say that.
Yes.
What's your favourite Oscar Wilde line?
One of the funny ones.
Right, which one? Which one really jumps out to you? I know there are lots in your mind.
Just the shape of the trophy.
Right. You remember the shape of the trophy?
Just remember the shape of the trophy.
Is that what drew you?
The shape of the books.
Right. Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. No comments coming through yet from the post match because we actually went live pretty quickly on the match ball.
Farker will say he'll be all right with that.
To be honest, it's hard to disagree with you. I know everyone wants to sort of dig him out and find fault with things at the minute, but under the circumstances, with the injuries and all the rest of it, I just take the point tonight. I think we'd have all taken a point coming into it, wouldn't we?
Yeah, maybe.
It does sort of force us to get a result on Friday night to feel better about ourselves.
I think 2 draws from this week is fine.
They are tough. I mean, yeah, I suppose they are tough games. It's just that feeling in the Championship that every game is winnable. So when you don't win, you go a couple of games without winning one.
But you can't. That's the thing. It's just not possible, is it? Nobody does it.
No. The table is still looking very compact, like the other results tonight.
First away goal we've conceded all season.
Yeah. And it was the centre-backs were not there. So it doesn't count.
Right.
Because that's what Farker was saying, wasn't it, about the goal against Burnley, because it was a slip and they just broke it, so that don't count. And this, again, doesn't count.
That's right.
Very Jonathan Woodgate. The table's lying.
Yeah, it is a bit in it. But, to look at the table.
I mean, as we were climbing up it the other day, Michael, I was prepared to start investing in it, but because we've drawn tonight and a couple of other rounders have won, I don't think we should look at it till 10 games in.
All right, fair enough. West Brom have lost again anyway.
Oh, have they really?
That's all I was going to say. They've lost at home. They've lost at home to Middlesbrough. Coventry looked absolutely dog shit, have beaten Blackburn 3-0, who were unbeaten until today.
Is that what you call a reaction?
It's just the way it goes, isn't it? Like we were admittedly saying Blackburn have no right to be up the top end of the table, weren't we?
No,
last week.
Yeah.
And so being handed a 3-0 spanking seems fair enough. But as it stands, we can still actually go top if we beat Sunderland.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we are 3 points off the top, so I am prepared to look at it now.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I thought we might have slipped to like 7th or something, in which case I've got no interest in it.
So Sunderland are top, but yeah, if we can beat them by a couple of goals, that puts us top.
As we wrap it up then, what about the optimism scale? Where are you on your optimism scale? Again, not a score out of 10 or anything like that. You need to stamp it like as a moment in time. You keep referring back to last season. I want you to think outside that box now. Think of a different time in your life.
Oh.
Go on. Come on. I believe in you. No pressure.
Okay, let me think.
You can just go back for last season, you're fine. Go on.
Well, no, I suppose I feel a bit like we had games like this under Bielsa, didn't we, as well, where we'd have a good win and then we'd go away and it'd feel a bit of a grind. But actually, we'd have a decent result afterwards. So, one of those.
Right.
I can't remember an exact result, obviously.
Right. So, how about we beat Millwall 3-0 last season, then we drew 0-0 with Hull City when Joe Rodon got sent off. That was when Rodon
got sent off.
And he gave away the penalty tonight.
That's a very good comparison, actually, yeah. Rodon-related upset. Although Rodon wasn't to blame for that because the first yellow in that whole game was ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. Instead of thinking about last season, why don't you think about the last time that Leeds lost the Championship playoff final, the season after that? Compare it to that.
It's better than that. We don't have Tony Warner in net and Jeff Horsfield up front.
That's true.
There was a proper striker.
Well,
we've not even talked about the return of Pat Bamford.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
I mean, we did have... I have a note saying Piero, Pat, Gelhardt and Wee Brenty. Desperate. Absolutely desperate.
Wee Brenty, is that...
as a front four.
Is that what Milana calls him?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see.
So much for a B+ for the transfer window, eh?
Joe Pirro.
Well, thank God we didn't buy that extra midfielder, Chris. That's what I will say.
Joe Pirro seems to have had 4 touches.
Right.
2 of which were him giving the ball away.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Ken Bates stole my seat is saying glass 3/4 full at the minute, optimism-wise.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, Norwich actually, I did see people sharing this on Twitter, just how good a home record Norwich have actually got. Like, it isn't an easy place to go.
Right.
It's difficult to be too optimistic or pessimistic because I don't think we've ever come to the realisation the Championship's a really long, hard slog, and there's probably not any point in feeling emotions about it until it's over.
I agree with that. And that's exactly what motivated my comment earlier on when I was talking about people getting narked at the subs, like taking the momentum out of the game. That's just the nature of the division. You can't play 3 games in 7 days, not make subs, not try and preserve some legs. And inevitably, your bench players are not going to be as good as the players on the pitch. It's just a fact, isn't it?
Yeah. Something we can complain about.
Right.
Corners again. Jesus. How are they so bad?
There was one where we all looked away for about 2 seconds and they were on the halfway line with the ball.
I think we took it quickly, which none of us were expecting. Yeah, and then they had the ball and it was like, oh shit. How on earth have we managed to do this?
We'll wrap things up right now. Lee, thankfully, has stepped in and has supplied a quote by Oscar Wilde, which is never too high when we win, never too low when we draw.
Yeah,
was that the one?
That's what. Yeah, you said that, didn't he?
That's one of your favourites.
One of his books.
Which one? Which book was that? Can you remember?
I think it was the Big Book of Oscar Wilde quotes.
The best of Oscar Wilde.
The best. Yeah,
Oscar Wilde's greatest hits.
That's the one.
Sounds like it's from Inverting the Pyramid.
We will wrap it up there. Time up on the match ball. Members, thank you for joining us on the live stream. Thank you for being a member as well. In the audio version, if you find that, it's on the website and you can add it to your podcast player as well. Stick around for extra time, a little bit of bonus chat. Don't know where it's going to go tonight. It's been quite a long day. I think we're all a little bit worn out, aren't we? It's a long season. It's a bit of a grind. We need to head to Sunderland.
You sound like you're going to cry.
Yeah. If you want to become a member and check out that and loads of other perks, thesquareball.net/plus. Otherwise, we'll be back with what we got. Later this week, we've got the roundup. We're going to be speaking to Popey, find out how his journey back from Norwich was before he sets off to Sunderland. That's on the West Stand before the weekend. And another match ball on Friday night. So,
which I'm not here for.
You sorry, what?
Not here, am I?
What are you doing? Oh, keep that for behind the paywall. Oh, we'll see you soon.
The Match Ball.